Welcome to Human Services Management Customer and Staff Voices. I'm Clinton Lewis, and I'm glad you're here. Today's episode is about clearing the backlog of overdue reports. This must be done while staying focused on the needs and safety and well-being of the customers you serve. In human services, backlogs can happen. Reports may become overdue. Documentation can pile up, follow up. Tasks can begin to feel overwhelming. When that happens, it's easy to panic, lose focus, and feel like there's no way to catch up. But that's when perseverance matters. The answer is not to rush carelessly through your tasks and assignments. The answer is not to lower your standards. The answer is to work steady, stay organized, and communicate clearly. Work within the boundaries of policy and the law, and remember your mission. A backlog can feel personal, but it's important to just see it for what it is. The work is challenging, and then it needs a thorough response. There may be a reason why reports become overdue. The caseload may have increased, coworkers may have left, emergencies may have taken priority, staff may be out, and procedures may have changed, or the work may have simply moved faster than the available time. Whatever the reason, the next step is not to get stuck on blame, shame, or fear. The next step is take responsibility for what is in front of you and make a plan. Start by getting clear. What happens when reports are overdue? Which ones require immediate attention? Which cases involve safety concerns, deadlines, customer needs, or urgent follow-up? What information is missing? What needs need to be reviewed before the report can be completed accurately? And are there customers who need to be seen? A clear picture helps you turn a large, overwhelming backlog into a list of manageable tasks and actions. Keeping the safety and well-being of your customers at the forefront always comes first. Before looking at dates or the numbers of reports remaining, consider the people connected to the work. Is anyone in immediate risk? Does a customer need a contact, a referral, a safety check, or urgent response? Are there circumstances that need to be elevated to a manager or addressed according to agency procedures? The backlog matters, but safety matters more. The customer safety or well-being is involved. Follow the appropriate process. Notify the right people. Document the actions taken. Seek guidance when needed. Do not assume that someone else is handling the concern if the information requires attention. This is not about carrying every responsibility alone. It's about understanding your role, staying alert, and acting with accountability. Staying focused on the needs of the customers must always remain at the center of everything. Reports are important because they document the work that is being done. They support the continuality services, and they help ensure that the customer needs are understood and addressed. Documentation is not just paperwork. It tells part of the person's story, their journey. It helps other professionals understand what has happened, what supports are needed, and what steps come next. That is why quality still matters when you're working through overdue reports. Do not let the pressure of the backlog make you forget about the person behind the report. Each file represents someone who may need stability, support, information, resources, protection, or follow through. Each report should be completed with accuracy, care, and respect. Working steady does not mean working slowly. It means working with purpose. It means giving each task the attention it requires without allowing distractions or anxiety to control the day and your actions. You must maintain your set standards. Even when the work piles up, it can be tempting to look for shortcuts, but shortcuts only create new problems. Incomplete notes, unclear information, rushed decisions, and poor communication can make it harder for the customer, the team, and the organization to move forward. Your standards matter the most when the pressure is high. You must maintain confidentiality, keep documentation accurate, follow policy, follow the law, and record information clearly. Make sure that your work reflects what actually occurred. If someone is unclear, ask a question. If information is missing, identify what is needed. If a report requires review or consultation, then make time for it. Working within the boundaries of policy and the law protect not only the customers, it protects staff, it protects the integrity of the work. It provides structure for difficult decisions. It helps ensure that people are treated fairly and that the response is responsible. The goal is not just to clear the backlog, the goal is to clear it ethically, legally, and responsibly. Perseverance is a strength to keep going, even when the task feels larger than your energy. You may not clear everything in one day. You may not see immediate progress after the first hour, but every report completed correctly is progress. Every question answered is progress. Every missing detail collected is progress. Every safety concern addressed through the proper channels is progress. And every honest conversation with your manager is, again, progress. Do not focus on how much remains. Take the time to recognize what has been completed. Perseverance is built through consistent action. Work one report, one follow-up, one task, one day at a time. Stay committed to your plan. You return to the priority list when new demands appear, and you reset when needed, and you just keep moving forward. The people who get through difficult workloads are not the people who move the fastest. They're often the people who stay disciplined, organized, and focused over time. So it's always important to remember the mission. The mission is the bigger picture, is bigger than the backlog. The mission is to serve people with care, professionalism, safety, and purpose. When you feel discouraged, remember why the work matters. The customer who needs a call back matters. The family waiting for clear information matters. The person depending on coordinated services matters. The documentation that helps the next professional understand the situation matters. Remember, the mission can bring you back to the center. It helps you see that even routine tasks have meaning when they're connected to service. This does not mean you carry the whole burden alone. It means that you remain committed to the role while using the support available to you. Communicate clearly with your manager or your team about any questions or concerns that you may have. Please don't wait until the pressure becomes unmanageable. Be honest about the workload. Bring a clear overview of what is overdue and what you have prioritized and what barriers you are facing and what support may be needed. You might need help clarifying priorities. You might need guidance on a complex case, or you might need assistance locating information or individuals. You might need time to protected set aside time for documentation. You may need another team member to help you with a specific task. If you have a safety concern, a policy question, or uncertainty about a legal requirement, communicate that immediately through the appropriate channels. Asking for clarification protects the customer and helps protect the quality of your work. Clear communication is not a sign of weakness. Weakness is a sign of accountability. A strong team does not pretend that problems don't exist. A strong team identifies concerns early, communicates respectfully, and works towards solutions. I want you to just take a listen for this simple approach. First, review the backlog and identify priorities based on immediate safety concerns, customer impact, and required deadlines. Second, block out focus work time whenever possible. Protect that time from distractions so you can get reports your proper and full attention. Third, Complete reports with, with the same accuracy, integrity, and respect for policy and law that you would use if there were no backlog. Fourth, communicate with your manager and your team. Ask questions early, share concerns honestly, and request support when it is needed. And finally, just keep returning to the mission. Remember that each completed report can support the customer's safety, better service, clear decisions, and stronger outcomes. And here's a coaching moment for this episode. I want you to ask yourself, which overdue reports need my attention first based on safety, well-being, and urgency? How can I work steady without lowering my standards? What customer needs should stay at the center of my work today? Am I following policy and law in every action I take? And what question or concern do I need to communicate clearly with my manager or team? I want you to say this yourself. I will keep customer safety and well-being at the forefront. I will work steady, maintain my standards, follow policy and the law, and stay focused on the mission. And for our closing moment, a backlog can be challenging, but does not have to define your work. Take one task at a time, keep customer safety and well-being at the forefront, maintain your standards, work within the boundaries of policy and law. Preserve through the pressure, and communicate clearly with your manager and your team. Always remember the mission and do the work with care and keep moving forward. And remember, you got this.